everyone, it's Affy, and today I am here to do my top 10 of 2025. I did read a good amount of books in 2025, not as many as I would have liked, and so my list this year is much smaller than in previous years. I think I did 20 of my top faves in 2024. So I really didn't read very much in 2025. I've only got 10 books for you here for this last year, but I still did read some amazing books and I'm really excited to share them with you. I will be going from book number 10 all the way down to my number one favorite book of 2025. So yeah, let's just hop on in. So book number 10 that I read in 2025 is by Teresa Medeiros. This is Charming the Prince. In this book we have a war hero who has finally come home from the war and is looking for a wife to care for all of his, I believe, 12 children. I don't remember the amount off the top of my head, but he's got a lot of kids. He's looking for a wife and he wants a wife who is plain and boring and not pretty so that he will not get her pregnant because he feels he already has too many damn kids and he doesn't want any more. And so he sends his steward out to go find him a wife, and unfortunately his steward comes back with this beautiful young woman and he is stuck trying to avoid his wife so that he will not get her pregnant. And this book was so funny. The kids in this are hilarious. These kids were fun. They were funny. It made the book so entertaining and I just love this one. Book number 9 is The Taming of a Highlander. This is by Alyssa Braden. In this book, we have a hero who was wrongfully imprisoned and he has finally made it out of prison and has caught the man that got him wrongfully thrown in jail. He is ready for revenge. Like, he is out for blood and he is trying to take this man out in the woods one day when he hears a young woman obviously cannot go through with killing this man because somebody will witness it. And so he loses his chance and he goes to his brother-in-law's home the next day and finds the young woman who caught him in the woods. He obviously does not want to get thrown back into jail, and so they marry because a woman could not be compelled to speak against her husband in court. And so he and this young woman end up getting married to protect him from being thrown back into jail. It is their romance. This was a very, very interesting book. It had some very, very sad moments to it. You get to see kind of what his time in prison was like. This is a great story about a tortured hero and a very lively, upbeat, sweet young woman, and I really enjoy this series as a whole, but this book in the series I think might be my favorite. So book number 8 is by Anne Gracie. This is The Perfect Stranger. In this book we have a young woman who has run away with a man to marry him. She met a man who was a musician and thought that he was the one, and so she leaves London with him to go marry him, only to find that he is already married and is not who he says he is. And so she escapes from this man only to find herself in France, of all places, not sure what to do with herself or her life. And then she comes across a man on the beach one night. She's running away from someone and he basically offers her a solution. He needs a wife. She clearly needs a husband so that she won't be ruined when she goes back to England, because she did run away with a man. And so they marry. They're two complete strangers, and they marry, and this one is pretty funny. It had some very sweet moments despite the fact that they didn't know each other. They had a very beautiful wedding. I really enjoyed their wedding scene. But this one is it's just a very interesting story, and I couldn't get it out of my mind, so it had to be on my list for this year. Book number 7 is by Lorraine Heath. This is In Want of a Viscount. In this book, we have an American heiress and a viscount. Our heiress is looking for investors for her business. She is a creator, an inventor, and she has invented what is essentially a typing machine. And she needs investors to put money into her company so that she can grow her business and sell her typing machine. They meet at a women's club, and have a very interesting night with one another. Then realize a few days later that he is one of the people who is interested in investing in her business. This is a really, really good romance. I remember closing the book and just smiling. It just made me smile. I really love this couple, and I love that our heroine is an inventor, and it's a great story. I really love this one. Book number 6 is also by Lorraine Heath, and it is part of the same series as book number 7, the Chessman series. This is The Notorious Lord Knightley. In this book, our hero and heroine have actually known each other for years. They were supposed to get married at one point, and then he basically leaves her at the altar and leaves her heartbroken. And so for years they have not spoken. And then a book is published about the notorious Lord Kay. And pretty much everybody in town is like, this book is clearly about Lord Knightley. He's very well known, and it's pretty obvious that the book is about him. And he knows, based off of the stories told in the book, that it is our heroine who has written this book about him. And so he basically comes back into her life and is like, I know you wrote this book about me. They fall back into one another's lives, and it goes from there. And I really, really enjoyed this book. Like, there's just so many little things that Lorraine Heath will put in her book, so many like things as far as like the backstory of why he left her, and what happened to her after he left her. It's an interesting story, and I finished it and I was just like, oh my god, I have to read this book again at some point. Like, it just, like the other book, this whole series is actually really good, and I love this one. I just love this one. Book number 5 is by Joanna Shoup. This is The Prince of Broadway. In this book, we have an American heiress, I guess you could say she is, and our hero in this book is actually the owner of a casino. And so our heroine is interested in starting a casino for women, and she goes to the hero to ask him basically for lessons and training in how to run her own casino. He is immediately taken by her. He basically tells her right away. He is immediately taken by her and tells her so. But he also lets her know that he has a vendetta out against her father. He has his reasons. He does not like her father, and he is out to get her father. And he makes this very clear to her: just because I am helping you out does not mean I'm going to stop my plans for your dad. She is a little too focused on starting her casino, and so she completely ignores this fact. But their relationship begins to blossom as they work together, and things go on from there. This is a really great book. I know a lot of people that love this story. It had some wonderful scenes, some that still live rent free in my mind. So yeah, this is just a really good one. Book number 4 is by Anna Harrington. This was part of a read along earlier this year. This is If the Duke Demands. Our heroine is in love with our hero's younger brother, and she makes an attempt one night at a party, at a masquerade party, to get her chance finally with the hero's brother, but she ends up going into the hero's room. He comes into the room, they start making out, and then she realizes it's the hero and not his brother. He basically is like, look, you like my brother, that's cool. I will help you get my brother's attention if you help me by coming to London with my family and helping me find a wife. His family gives her a season and they go to London, and he tries to help her be in a relationship with his brother, and she tries to help him find a wife. But obviously, things don't go as planned. So this was a really, really great book. I do remember being annoyed at the hero at one point because he's hard-headed, but it's a really, really great story. I love the heroine. She's such a sweet girl, and yeah, this is a great one to check out. Book number 3 is by Sarah McLean. This is 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake. In this book, we have a woman who is a spinster, and she overhears her sister basically saying that, she's kind of boring, that she doesn't really have anything going for her in life. And she decides that she's going to take the bull by the horns, as it were, and do things with her life. She wants to live it up. And so she creates a list of things that she wants to do, fun things, interesting things, places that she wants to go that maybe she usually wouldn't be allowed to go to. And she puts together this list, and the first thing on her list is to kiss the hero because she's always had a crush on him. And so she shows up at his house late in the middle of the night one day and asks him for a kiss, and he is very taken by the fact that this young woman is bold enough to show up on his doorstep to ask for a kiss. And so he basically is like, look, I have a situation that you could help me out with. And if you help me out with this situation, I will give you your kiss. And so they make a deal, and she begins to work on her list, and he happens to bump into her as she's working through her list. And he bumps into her several times and is basically like, what are you doing? What's with all these crazy things you're doing? And she's like, I have a list of things that I want to try, and you don't have to like it. I'm going to do these things. And he realizes he cannot stop her. And so he decides to join her and help her get through her list. And this is such a fun book. I had a lot of fun with this one. I read it a little bit slower than some of the other books just to savor it because it was so much fun. The situations that she gets herself into and the things on her list and how she ends up doing them. Just some amazing scenes in here between the two of them. Like I really enjoyed this one a lot. Book number 2 is by Anne Gracie as well. This is also part of the same series as The Perfect Stranger, but this is The Perfect Waltz. In this book, we have a heroine who is very beautiful. She's very coveted, and our hero sees her at a ball one day and is just smitten with her. And he decides that he is going to ask her for a dance, for a waltz. And she finds him interesting, and so she decides that she's going to give him her last dance, which is very coveted by all the men at balls. They're always excited to see who she's going to give her last dance to. And so she's a little intrigued by him, and she gives him her last dance of the night. And he is so nervous that it's a horrible dance. It's a horrible dance. Like, even she's like, this is not good at all. I don't think this guy even knows what he's doing. But she's taken by him, and so they have their dance, and then they bump into each other. Later on in the book, she is at the park riding her horse, and she's practicing tricks on her horse. Some very dangerous tricks, and he happens to see, and gosh, that's such a funny scene. But she's practicing some dangerous tricks on her horse, and he freaks the fuck out. And she basically offers to help him out. He has 2 young sisters who are they've recently come back into his life, and he needs a lot of help with managing them, and she offers to help him. And it's their romance. This book made me cry. His relationship between him and his sisters is a very tenuous one, and he has a lot of things that he has to work through, and with his sisters, like, they don't trust him. And so there's just a lot of family scenes that they made me cry. Like, there was just some heartbreaking scenes in this book, and so it made me cry a few times, and because of that I had to put it high up on the list. It's such a sweet story, and despite his horrible dancing, she finds something to love about this man, and it's a great one. It's a really, really great one. It made me cry. So if it makes me cry, it goes on the list for best of the year. So my number 1 top read for 2025 is by Lisa Kleypas, none other. And this is one of her older books. I read this book because it is in the same series as Derek Craven's book, and I wanted to read it in order. So this is Then Came You. In this book, we have a spitfire young heroine and a somewhat uptight hero. And our heroine is known for being a wild child. She is the type that will, let's see, what did she do in the beginning? She jumps into the Thames, of all places, to collect her hat that she dropped into the river. In the middle of a yacht party, she jumps off the yacht to go collect her hat, and she's the type of woman that the men will invite to the hunt. Like, she's that girl. She's she's just a little bit different, and people are fine with that. They let her get away with things that they don't usually let other women get away with. And so her little sister basically begs her, because her little sister has been engaged to this man that she does not want to marry. She's in love with somebody else. And so she asks, you know, our heroine, like, please help me get out of this marriage. I really don't want to marry this man. And so our heroine shows up, and the man that her sister is supposed to marry is very uptight, and he's very annoyed by her. She makes him feel things, and he doesn't like to feel things. And their romance begins as she tries to destroy his relationship with her sister. These two are, this book was hilarious. There were so many funny moments. Like I said, she's a wild child, and she definitely she tries some things, and she puts this man through some hell. But eventually she puts herself in a situation where she has to marry him. And she is not happy about it at first, but they get married, and the story goes from there. I had so much fun with this book. Like I said, it had me laughing so hard at certain points, and it just had some amazing scenes. She like kidnaps his brother. She kidnaps him. She's just napping everybody in the entire book. So it's pretty darn funny, and the romance is amazing as well. It's not just hilarious. It's also got a great romance, but I really, really enjoyed this book this year. This was my favorite book, and I feel like every year my favorite book has been a Lisa Kleypas book for like the last 2 or 3 years, but this one really did it for me. I enjoyed myself thoroughly with this book, and so it just had to be number 1. Want to sit up and say hi with me? Do you? No? Yes, no? You thinking about it? Okay. So those are my top 10 books for 2025. Let me know if you have read any of these books, and if so, how you felt about them. What were your favorite books of 2025? Definitely let me know. And if you made it to the end of this video, please leave me a microphone emoji, leave me some comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.